Who was the first monarch of the House of Tudor? Henry VII. In which year did the American Civil War begin? (1861). What was the main purpose of the Magna Carta? Limit King. Who was the British Prime Minister during most of World War II? Churchill. Which ancient civilization built Machu Picchu? Inca. What event triggered the start of World War I? Assassination. Who discovered America in 1492? Columbus. What was the primary purpose of the Boston Tea Party? Protest. Which empire was ruled by Genghis Khan? Mongol. What year did the Berlin Wall fall? (1989). Who painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel? Michelangelo. Which British king was forced to sign the Magna Carta? John. The Declaration of Independence was signed in which year? (1776). Who was the first president of the United States? Washington. What was the code name for the Normandy landings in World War II? Overlord. Who led the Soviet Union during World War II? Stalin. Which country was Napoleon exiled to in 1815? Saint Helena. Who was known as the Iron Lady? Thatcher. Which war was ended by the Treaty of Versailles? WWI. The Great Fire of London happened in which year? (1666). Who was the first man to step on the moon? Armstrong. Who was the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt? Cleopatra. What year did the Titanic sink? 1912. The Wright brothers are famous for. Airplane. Who was the first female Prime Minister of the UK? Thatcher. Where did the Industrial Revolution begin? UK. Who wrote the Communist Manifesto? Marx. Which ancient city was buried by Mount Vesuvius? Pompeii. What was the main purpose of the Berlin airlift? Supply. Who was the first U.S. president to be impeached? Johnson. The Battle of Hastings took place in which year? (1066). Who was the British monarch during the American Revolution? George III. Who was the Desert Fox of World War II? Rommel. Who was the first ruler of the Roman Empire? Augustus. Who invented the telephone? Bell. Which event started the French Revolution? Bastille. Who led the Confederacy in the U.S. Civil War? Davis. Who was the first human to orbit Earth? Gagarin. In which year did India gain independence from Britain? (1947). The Renaissance originated in which country? Italy. Who founded the Mongol Empire? Genghis. Which war ended with the Treaty of Paris, 1783? U.S. Rev. Who was known as the Sun King? Louis XIV. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Da Vinci. Which empire was ruled by Suleiman the Magnificent? Ottoman. The Cold War was primarily between which nations? USA, USSR. Who was the first European to reach India by sea? Vasco. Who led India's independence movement through nonviolence? Gandhi. What triggered the Russian Revolution in 1917? WWI. Who was the first emperor of China? Qin.